Okay guys, so today I wanted to go over a little bit of a different concept. This is a slightly different type of workout than probably most of you guys are used to. But I personally do this workout generally at least one day a week. I generally do when I do my yard work. We're going to use the kettlebell just as an example for this. I'm going to go over the form on the kettlebell because I think it could be valuable. Hopefully some of you guys have kettlebells at home. A lot of transferability and everything in normal everyday life. But basically the workout is simple. All it is that I'll go through it and I'll set up whatever it is I'm working on out here in the backyard. Today we're going to be doing with the kettlebell. But all you're doing is, like if I'm going through and I'm doing my yard work, I will go through and I will, I'll edge the yard. And then I'll come over here, I'll do kettlebell swings. And I'll go mow the lawn and then I'll do some kettlebell swings. And basically all we're doing is we're adding up volume over time. And the workout itself might take hours to do. It might take 2, 3, 4 hours to do. But I'm slowly adding up time. One of the nice things, I'm slowly adding up volume over time. But one of the things that we're doing is we're keeping every repetition super, super crisp. We're never working out in a fatigue state. Every motion is as explosive as possible. You're never really in that fatigue state where your form starts breaking down. You're really not contracting as many muscle fibers as you possibly can. There's a lot of benefit to it, and really, if I do 100 kettlebell swings over the course of an hour, is it any different than doing 100 kettlebell swings altogether? The answer there is there's pluses and minuses. Some of the pluses are that by doing 100 repetitions all back to back, what you're going to wind up doing is you're going to wind up increasing your endurance, obviously. But for most people, their form is going to start breaking down after about the 10th repetition, and then the last 90 you're practicing bad form. By doing it this way, every repetition is as crisp as possible, as perfect as possible, and as explosive as possible, especially when it comes to the kettlebell, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to show you the kettlebell, is because that explosive force is really what we're looking for with the kettlebell. So for a lot of you guys that are working from home right now, have a kettlebell by your door, and every time you walk by the door, do 10 kettlebell swings. Or set a timer for every 20 minutes and do 10 kettlebell swings, as explosive, as crisp, focusing on your form, focusing on making it look as clean as possible. This will allow you to get greater contraction. It will allow you to burn more calories over time. It will really, that's the way we're designed to work, is just all throughout the day, right? It's not necessarily that you sit for 23 hours and then you work out for 1 hour. That might not be as beneficial as you think it is. This is a great way to get that same workout in, just spread out evenly throughout the day. But you don't just have to do this with kettlebells, you could do this with pull-ups. In fact, I would highly, highly suggest getting a pull-up bar for the house, maybe a band to assist with some pull-ups. I'll show you some videos later on how to do this too as well. And just every time you walk by that pull-up bar, however many crisp pull-ups you could get, however many, with perfect form you could get. For me, I generally only do 5 to 10 pull-ups, and it's good enough for me, but I might accumulate in small sets of 5, 200 to 300 pull-ups over the course of a day, just going through and hitting my pull-up bar, and every time I walk past that in the middle of working on something else, I'll get some pull-ups in. And it's a great way to build up some volume, making sure that your form is absolutely perfect, and making sure that everything looks as crisp and clean as possible, and that you're getting maximal contraction with every repetition. We're going to go over the kettlebell right now, just positions on a standard swing. This is obviously our kettlebell. Hopefully some of you guys have this at home. I know I've gone over this with a lot of you guys, and you guys could just skip this if you already know the form. It probably wouldn't be bad though for you to repeat it again. Our start position on our kettlebell swings, if we put our hands on our knees like we're out of breath, here, that is our start position. We want even weight distribution through our feet, and we want our feet to be shoulder width apart here, okay? So I'm here, I'm going to reach back, I'm going to grab my tailbone. Okay, that is the start position. From there, we would forcefully drive our hips forward, standing up, my quads are locked, my glutes are locked, everything is nice and tight here, my core stays tight. From here, I'm arching my back as much as possible, reach back, then I stand back up, squeezing those glutes as tight as I can, okay? It really is a matter of teaching you how to load those hips properly. And you can think of it like a slingshot. That as that kettlebell comes back into your hips, you're loading that slingshot, and it's going to sling its way back out this way. We want it to be as forceful as possible. We want to get activation of what are called type 2 muscle fibers, those fast twitch muscle fibers, okay? There's two different ways that we get to activate fast twitch muscle fibers. One is move heavy things slowly, and two is move light things quickly, okay? This is a 70-pound kettlebell, and it sounds heavy, but as much force as you can generate through your glutes, it's actually pretty light. And since we're only going to be doing 10 repetitions, it's actually very, very light. I've gone up as heavy as, you know, I have like a bar that you could add weight to, you could do swings with. When I used to do a lot more kettlebell stuff, I would do sets of 300-pound kettlebell swings, and it's an interesting feel because it forces you into that right position. It is almost as if you cannot do it wrong, and if you do it wrong, there's very, very quick feedback. Now, we want you to be safe, but at the same time, I want you to be able to feel that swing. If you can't feel that weight properly in that swing, you're not doing it correctly. My kettlebell instructor taught me something very, very beneficial, and something that made me rethink about things, which is that you could do bad form with lightweight. You can't do bad form with heavyweight. So try to find a weight that challenges you, that keeps you in good position, and yet you're still able to feel, okay? Once again, that motion, as we come from here to here, it's explosive as possible. One of the things that I always like to explain to people that it is very similar to if I told you to jump as far forward as you can this way, jump as far forward as you can. It's the same motion. Now what I'm doing is instead of here, I'm just releasing to here, and I'm not allowing myself to go forward anymore, okay? When we pick up the kettlebell, we always want a triangle form between our feet and the kettlebell here. And what that's going to do, especially with a heavier kettlebell, it's going to load your hips and get you into a good position. Okay? Otherwise, if I just pick up that kettlebell here and then start swinging, I'm out of position, and it takes me about 3 or 4 reps to get into a good position. Where this, it swings back into that pendulum, back into your tailbone, back towards your tailbone, and you're able to shoot that kettlebell back out without having to readjust that swing. Okay? From there, what we're going to do is every time you start this off, and this is one of the nice things about just doing sets of 10 as explosive as possible, is that you're checking your form every time. So what we're going to do is we're going to get into our position, we're going to form our triangle, we're going to put our hands on our knees, we're going to arch our back as much as possible, looking straight forward at the kettlebell, then we're going to lean forward, grab that kettlebell, and try not to change too much from that original position. From there, we're going to lean that kettlebell back toward us, and drop back towards your hips, and now, with that, I'm exhaling as forcefully as I can. I'm trying to use my teeth to breathe. Okay? I'm contracting my glutes as tight as I can. In that top position, I am fully locked out. My quads are as tight as I can. My glutes are as tight as I can. I only did 10 repetitions, but I want to keep them crisp. I could keep on going. I could do a lot more repetitions, but I only want to get 10, just that way every repetition is explosive as possible and as crisp as possible. We want to be using this for what it's used for, which is to create that explosive power, okay? Like I said, this is something you could do just all throughout the day. And even just go through and, during your workday, get 10. Set an alarm for another half hour, 10. If you did an 8-hour day, you got 160 repetitions by the time you're done, okay? We'll go over the form again. I'll show you the form from a front viewpoint now. Once again, I'm going to form my triangle. I'm going to put my hands on my knees, get myself into my good position here. My chest is out as far as I can. I'm checking to make sure that there's even weight distribution through my feet. I'm going to reach forward, grab the end of that kettlebell, lean it back toward me, let it come back into my hips. And I drop it back down, forming my triangle once again, okay? You could do this once again with pull-ups, you could do this with push-ups, you could do it with sit-ups, you could do it with virtually anything. And by separating it out throughout the day, making your 1-hour workout into a 8-hour workout, you might be surprised how many calories you could actually burn, okay? All right, guys, have a great day.